in his riches, man lacks wisdom. Man lacks wisdom. Man lacks wisdom. The parable of the rich fool, this parable we heard today, tells us a lot of things about our lives. It tells us a lot of things about our lives. It tells us that we cannot be guaranteed by ourselves about tomorrow. Planning whatever we are doing, let us not be too presumptuous that tomorrow is given, thereby neglecting the grace of God, the help of God. Look at this particular parable. These words of this man, his statement, just in his statement, you can see that his riches entered his head. He began living an individualistic life. He became egoistic. You look at the words, you see that the personal pronouns used in his words in this parable were more than even the words, what he was about to say. And they begin to count the personal pronouns, the I, and the personal possessive pronoun, my. You get up to 11 of them. Listen, and that was his problem. That was his problem. He said, what am I to do? Everything was about I, my. What am I to do? I have not enough room to store my crops. Then he said, this is what I will do. I will pull down my barns and build bigger ones. Store all my grain and my goods in them. And I will say to my soul, my soul, you will have plenty of good things laid by for many years to come. Take things easy. Eat, drink, have a good time. How many my? About 11. The my there is up to 6. Then the I, like 5 times. So the question is, what of his laborers? He forgot them. What of his wife, perhaps, if he married? There wasn't any mention of his neighbors. He didn't consider any other person. For him, he made himself. He was self-made. He didn't even remember God, who gave him a plenty of harvest. He didn't remember those who helped him to till the ground, to cultivate. He had made use of them. Didn't remember even those who sold to him the grains he cultivated. Everything was I. You know what is called egocentrism? Egocentrism is a combination of two words, ego and centrism, centric. Ego is the Latin word for I. Centric is center. So you place the I at the center, thinking that the world revolves around you, that everything should be about you. Anytime you see someone talking about I, my, in any discussion, you see the person I, my. Don't relate with that person. That person is a fool. Jesus tells us today that that person is a fool. Imagine Jesus himself, who said to us, do not call your brother a fool, is today saying that God called this man a fool, which means that from fool to a fool. This man was full in his resources. He thought that he was full, he was now made, but he didn't know that he was going to become a fool. don't ever think that the thing you think you know, that your intelligence, your good health, that your wisdom, that your resources, that whatever your beauty, whatever you think you have, that is where life is. This man forgot that God created him in a community, not to be an individual. Whatever we are doing, we must always remember those around us. Had it been that there was a place he placed like we, our, us, God would have said, okay, you see, that kind of thing. But as I said, man in his riches lacks wisdom. Once you think that you have amassed enough, there's a difference between receiving and what? Amassing. You think when you understand that you whatever you have, you received it, you see that you won't be too proud. You won't be too proud. But once you think that you amassed it, then pride comes in. You think that it's by your power. And that's when you begin to be like that nza, wanza. You know the proverbial wanza, akambwa. That's the man. That's the man. Avarice, selfishness, too much ego. That's why somebody said that ego trip is a journey to nowhere. If you have ego, begin to drop it. The world does not revolve around you. The world does not revolve around you. Always understand that whatever you are doing is by the grace of God. If you need to pray for yourself, thank God, and pray for your community. Thank God for the gift of your neighbor. Not just about I, my. So please, let us today pray to God to give us the grace to understand that there's no need of being selfish. There's no need, because once you begin to be selfish, you begin to fall. Pride comes before falling. Pride comes before falling. May God help us. Bless His word in our hearts and minds through Christ our Lord.